DreamHack ASTRO Open is brought to you by ASTRO, Monster Energy, Corsair, Zowie, Intel, and Lenovo Legion.
Welcome back to the DreamHack DreamHack ASTRO Open Montreal. Got a little ahead of myself there. A great day here for some Counter-Strike. Sitting on the island of the St. Lawrence River with a triple peak hill at its heart. It's 13 degrees Celsius outside and a little bit overcast, but that's not the only thing looking bleak today for some of these teams. It's elimination day, sending 4 teams home and 2 to meet our first semifinalist in North and Immortals. My name is Stunna, and I am the desk host here at DreamHack ASTRO Open Montreal. I'm joined by some of my friends. Dare I call them friends? Right,
I
guys?
hope I'm your friend. I'm your friend.
See, it's the I hope I'm your friend versus I am your friend. It is what it is. We've got Pimp, we've got Hazed. We saw some great Counter-Strike yesterday. Are we going to have the same today?
I think so. I think there's potential for some great matches. Now we move into the best of 3 stages, and usually they make up for better games.
Well, we're going to be, that's right, we're going into best of 3s, kicking it off with Gale Force and CLG today. And we did see both of them play yesterday. One team having a little bit better of a showing than the other. Talk to me about it, Hayes.
Yeah, Gale Force came out swinging, especially against North, number 4 team in the world. Really impressed by their stand-in, actually, Judy. He actually came up big in the second half and I think sparked the comeback. Johnny Boy came up huge as well for them. And obviously, honestly, his name, I'm not sure how to say it. Is it Guishoto? How do you say his name?
I mean, I would try to say it, but
Is that it?
There's a chance I completely butcher it and say something I don't mean.
We'll have to ask the casters later.
Yeah.
Because they have to know the names, right?
Or we just straight up ask him. I think either one is a viable option.
But his clutch was impressive yesterday. That Deagle, that kept him in the game. I think it's 15-10, I think it was. And, man, what a match that was.
Very, very much an awesome day for Counter-Strike. But before we go any further, let's kind of catch you all up to speed if you're just joining us for the first time.
By Ivy, one man on the site, and there it is. Automatic.
That's incredible from Automatic as he finds a third as well, but how have they let him walk in? No one even looking at A-Main, and they know they're against pistols. He's got 4 headshots, and he's going for the ace already.
And that gets clean up from Henny, looks for the second, but here goes Kanji, pressing forward with the UMP. The knife actually comes out, he'll get it, Showtime will get shanked. They've been using so much utility, though, before they even enter the site. You can see we're down.
Ooh, and there's the double from Cajun. Hasn't been able to realize him just yet, but he's flanking him, and his opponent has no idea. He'll walk up, and he'll get the big clutch for Hyper, keeping Kingwood in the game.
Spiro, AZ, you want to move, my man? Nope.
Oh, no, here he goes. Oh! He misses the back, not again.
Just rushing Tarek, but look at this. Oh, my goodness.
And there we go, he's going to open it up, picks up an A-King, gets a third one.
Dare I say that that knife is something that guy will probably look back on for many, many years to come. Am I onto something here, guys?
I tweeted out. That was flat out stupid. You know, that's a winnable round, and he just decided not to win it for his team.
But on the other side of the spectrum, right? So we see Automatic going crazy with the Deagle, Tarek setting himself up in the back of Cash. I mean, yesterday was just full of plays from some teams and disappointment from others.
Yeah, absolutely. CLG being the disappointment. But I think Cloud9, like y'all were hinting at just a second ago with the Automatic Deagle and the Tarek play, I mean, that's a team of playmakers, and we saw them making plays. And we're going to see them later today.
We will do that, as they did drop that map yesterday to Immortals. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the groups and the brackets and see just how this one breaks down from yesterday going into today. You might notice that North and Gale Force game there, 16-14. Pimp, what happened?
I mean, it was the first game of the day. Gale Force came out just from customs, and we didn't expect anything from them, to be quite honest. And they managed to put up a great fight against North. Fair to say that North weren't playing their A game at all. That was their first game, obviously, as well. So it's like, not sure how much we can read into that, and that's why I'm looking very much forward to this best of 3 going up against CLG now, because we can get to see what they actually are made of, and not just in a best of 1.
Yeah, and we do see 16-14 over CLG there in their initial matchup. There was a tweet earlier by FNS, but we're not pulling that bad boy up. I noticed he had some interesting things to say about us. That's fine. I love that guy. He's a good guy. Looking over at Group B, though, Cloud9 stomping on Complexity. Just a straight-up thrashing, I do believe, is the appropriate terminology. And then the same scoreline echoed over there in Immortals and Luminosity. Cloud9 and Immortals being the last matchup of the day, bringing it to a 16-13 scoreline after a, what I believe, 13-2 half. So really, that one did battle back by Cloud9, but they did just fall short of being able to power through in that one. So we're going to be seeing that Complexity Luminosity game, and then the winner of that would go on to play Cloud9 later in the day. But here are your playoff brackets as this one has broken down thus far. We do have Immortals and North, the first 2 semifinalists into the playoff bracket itself. Are we surprised, guys?
I'm not surprised. I think this was pretty much expected. I mean, it could have gone both ways looking at the Immortals Cloud9 game, but going into this tournament, Immortals did play second at the major, and they did a fine showing at DreamHack Masters Malmö, and Cloud9 are still a new team, so I don't think anyone or anything pointed towards Cloud9 beating Immortals, so I would say it's expected so far.
Well, we're going to be jumping into Gale Force and Counterlogic Gaming soon, so make sure you get your votes in the chat at !Gale or !CLG. Go ahead, participate. It's the right thing to do. I know Hayes stayed up last night making sure that you guys were all doing the right thing in chat, I think, right?
No comment.
But nonetheless, yeah, make sure you get your vote in there. We will be reviewing those before we go live. But just getting your guys' vote right now. We're not going to get into predictions yet, but I'm going to ask you guys, how are we feeling about this one?
I think it'll be pretty close. I think it'll probably go to 3 maps based on the performance against North. I mean, CLG looked dead yesterday, and Gale Force looked like a team that is emotionally ready to upset someone. They were getting hyped, and they were ready to go.
Well, let's take a look at Gale Force now. We do see Judy in there. Tell me about Judy as a player. I mean, we know he has come from 1.6. He's an older player. What do we know about this guy?
He's an old 1.6, like almost what Rank S was before Rank S. 10-mans back then. It used to be with pro players, and he was never pro 1.6, but he was always really skilled and always filled in during these 10-mans, and just, you know, always would go ham. I won't lie. He was really good back then. Surprised to see him still playing, actually. I thought he was gone, but he just came out of nowhere, and he's filling in for Gale Force, and they're playing well.
Every now and then. We do know about Joni Boys and Opera being able to bring just a little bit of pain yesterday during the North game.
Yeah, I mean, he woke up after some of the other guys made to clutch out some rounds, and it was great to see that he also got into the game, because it is important to have your AVP player on point if you want to go far in a tournament. Simple as that. It's a big investment every time you buy the up, so if he's non-existing on the server, that's going to hurt your team a lot. Also going up against Kusta today, who were absent completely from yesterday's game, you know, I think he has a real chance of actually like showing up and dominating, or at least have a chance to impact the game.
And here we have Marky, a player who's had just a little bit of tough time in recent times, at least, a former player of Energy, having been benched from there. We now see him over here on the Gale Force side of things. But is it fair to say that Gale Force, a team with not really much to lose at this point? I mean, they come to the tournament with just about zero outside expectations. So what they're able to accomplish here has to be on the up and up.
I mean, I always feel they won it, you know, in terms of the first game against North. I don't think they expected to play such a close game against anyone in this tournament. I think it's a team that's here to learn, a team that's here to gain experience. Probably the first showing for many of them on a big stage. So already now I think they can be okay with their performance. Obviously, they will not be satisfied if they go out 2-0 today and don't put up a fight. But still, you know, they showed potential yesterday, so I think they're okay with it.
Well, there's potentially some rested Counterlogic Gaming players there. Hayes, the resident expert on what's going through these guys' brains. Let's hear it.
Yeah, they definitely need to be rested. They'd be a new team today, because yesterday their best performer stat-wise was Cutler at 0.81 rating, I believe it was. I mean, when everyone on your team is below that, that's not a good day. So they need to reset, and hopefully Ryu helped them prep for this match. I think maybe in the past or maybe even right now, but yesterday's performance, I think, probably motivated them to maybe study Gale Force. I think in the past they wouldn't have done something like that. They'd been like, we're just better than them. But based on yesterday's performance, I think they probably, and hopefully they did, go and study some of Gale Force's demos.
Yeah, I think it was definitely something where they needed to go home and kind of take a look at the homework and say, hey, you know what, we need to buckle up here, guys, because tomorrow's going to be a long day. They win this one, they have to go forward, play another one to even have the chance to get into playoffs. Which is a long road, to say the least. Now, we want to remind you guys at home, if you're just joining us, go ahead and get your vote in on the chat. Exclamation point Gale or exclamation point CLG. And from the looks of it, that's kind of, if you're CLG, that's a little demoralizing to see.
Yeah, is that real?
I'm going to go with, yeah, I mean.
Whoa.
We've seen some fake news this year, but, you know, that's looking pretty solid right there.
That's pretty close to the one earlier.
Pretty close to the one earlier. Let's go ahead and switch it over now to the map bans. We are playing a best of 3 here, and we will be playing best of 3s all day. Where do we see this one landing, guys?
I would imagine Mirage is going to be in there, maybe Cobble as well. I didn't expect Train to be in it. I figured Gale Force would ban it since it's CLG's maybe best map right now. I'm not sure what their best map is, but I know Train is something they really love to play.
Yeah, I could see Cash sneak in there as well. I think it's up to whatever they pick. Yeah, Overpass as well. That's again, we talked about it yesterday. Gale Force don't have the room to pick anything towards their enemies. You know, they just have to go with their strongest map, and that's apparently Overpass. That's what they feel most comfortable on. On the other hand, CLG is a great Overpass team. They seem solid, especially the double up with Ricky and Kusta is something that could cause Gale Force some problems.
Yeah, I mean, again, in a best of 3, it changes everything, right? Because your map vetoes, making it down to picking the 3 maps or trying to get the 3 maps that you want, does change things a considerable amount. But we're going to see that ban from Gale Force on Nuke. What are we thinking here for CLG? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think the only 2 maps are Mirage and Cobble, I believe, and I would imagine that CLG would much rather play Cobble after yesterday's performance on Mirage. They're probably worried, yeah, and that's exactly what they did. I think that played a little bit into this. I think before yesterday, they would have picked Mirage here. But based on yesterday's performance, they went with the Cobble.
I think so too, and it's quite interesting because CLG saw Gale Force play up with North on Cobble yesterday. North are known for being one of the best teams in the world on Cobble, and Gale Force play 16-14 against them, you know. So they're kind of like pressured into a situation where they couldn't feel comfortable with the 3rd map, at least not as comfortable as they would have wanted to.
Well, I want to take this time to remind you guys at home not to only vote into the chat, but also give a thanks to our sponsors over at ASTRO, Monster Energy, Zowie Corsair, Intel, and Lenovo Legion for making this all possible here at the DreamHack Open. DreamHack ASTRO Open in Montreal. That's twice today. 3 strikes, I think they pull me off the desk. So let's really not, let's just calm it down a little bit and let's see what happens.
I couldn't fill in for you. Let's just say it. All right. You got the hard job.
You'd be surprised. I think you guys could do all right. But you know what you guys could do better at? These predictions, and that's what time it is.
I want to say I can't do better. I won 6 for 6 yesterday.
You can't prove that because there's no record. We'll go watch the VOD. We'll watch the VOD.
Okay, sure.
But let's get into predictions. We got a best of 3 here. Again, we could go the full distance. We could go to 2 maps. What do we think is going to happen here, Haste?
I got to go in the 3 maps. I'm not going to do scores on BO3s. I think that's a little ludicrous.
Hey, man. Sometimes you got to make a play that, you know.
No, I'm not doing scores. I'll say maps. I think based on the veto, I think Gale Force win the 1st map. I think they'll take Overpass. I don't think CLG is like that great of an Overpass team. And then I think CLG closes it out 2-1.
All right.
Yeah, I do not agree with that. I think
just right away, no.
No, I think CLG is the better team, and there's nothing that tells me that Gale Force can put up another great fight against a better team. It's simply too soon. I think the experience, the pressure, it's gonna get to them. I think it should be, considering the maps as well, it should be a 2-0 for CLG. That said, though, if Gale Force manage to pick one of the first 2 maps, then I think there's a potential for an upset on the 3rd one. But as the first 2 maps is as they are, I think CLG is gonna pick it 2-0.
I think the one thing that we really have to consider here is the fact that this is the first game of the day. This is the very first match of the morning, and you know, for all intents and purposes, this is pretty early for gamers. So it could go either way, but I'm really leaning the side of Pimp here and saying that the experience over in Counter Logic Gaming will probably propel them to the win here. I'm gonna go 2-1. Could be a slow start. Fair to say?
That's fair to say. I just, you know, I want to say 2-0 CLG, but I can't.
It's tough after yesterday's performance.
Yeah, after
right?
yesterday, I just can't.
No.
You just can't, and you won't. But you know what we will do is take a look at the votes from you, the viewer at home, and seeing what you were thinking, because you have been participating, right, guys? How'd this one break down? 87% to 13. There are no CLG fans in the Twitch chat this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I think I'm a little bit surprised by that.
I mean, I'm not sure about the time zones in regards to Argentina and Brazil, right? But I think that must play in right now, because that can't be true.
Yeah, that can't be like an actual percentage, right? Like, that's not the actual percentage of whether or not CLG is going to win this match. It's probably more like, I would say, 60-40 CLG.
80 to 20.
Yeah, I think you guys are dancing more realistic numbers, at least.
Yeah.
But some of the more real, excuse me, the most real people in the building would be our commentators who are sitting by, and that is Blue and Seaside. What's up, friends?
Not much. How you doing?
Well, you know, we had, at least I had a good night's sleep. I can't attest to everyone over here, but what about you?
That was good. It was much better than last night, anyway.
Look like a brand new person
Like
today,
triple.
Blue.
It was triple night's sleep, so I'm feeling nice and refreshed, ready to go.
Who do you guys got in this one?
I mean, in a best of one, I would say that Gale Force had a pretty good chance to upset here, but I think over the course of a best of three, CLG is probably going to take it.
I'm going to go the ludicrous way. I'm going to be the only one. I think it's going to go to a third map, and Cobblestone is just going to be it's going to be really close. I'm going to go Gale Force just because I want to be the only guy to go on the Gale Force side. So
outside.
You always have that one friend.
Yeah.
Am I right? There's always that one guy at the party who just makes it, you know, what it is. And on that note, you guys can just keep it.
All right, thank you very much, Stunna. So it is indeed almost time to start the day here from the DreamHack ASTRO Open. Our first elimination.